Good evening. This is the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority. The time is now 6 p.m., Wednesday, July 10th. I call the meeting to order. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, at this time I'll open the meeting for public comment. Seeing no one present for public comment, comment is closed. At this time I'll ask the board for review and approval of our minutes from our special meeting, June 25th. We have any board discussion? I did notice that the minutes list it's the regularly scheduled board meeting at the top for the June 25th minutes, and it should say special board meeting. Oh, that's the prior one? Okay. All right, so the agenda is asking for review and approval for a special board meeting. Okay. So the agenda's wrong. All right. Any other board discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, just I'm seeing where in the minutes it's reflecting that a public hearing is going to be held at the board facility. I think that should reflect at the courthouse. That's, I think, on the second page of the minutes under some comments that Ms. Hines made.
Okay. Mr. Woods would make note of that. The board in agreement with that change.
I'll also ask could we include in our minutes, and I think Ms. Yolanda made that statement that we didn't have any financials presented at that June 25th meeting. We just include that no financial were presented and the statement was made also.
All right. Would you like to make a formal motion to adopt the minutes with the changes noted?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented with the changes noted, location of our meeting, and adding that no financials were in the monthly package.
All right, Mr. Woods has made a motion to adopt the minutes with the changes noted, seconded by Commissioner Bailey. All in favor? Aye. That carries. Right. Executive Director's Report. I'd like to take a moment just to welcome Mr. Jedediah Jackson on board as our new Executive Director for St. Charles Parish Housing. Welcome aboard. We're glad to have you. And I'll just hand this over to you to give your report.
Thank you, Commissioner Jay. And thank you again to this board. My name is Jedediah Jackson. I'm the new Executive Director of the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority. And again, I want to thank the board for this opportunity. I want to also thank Ms. Yolanda Prevost and the entire team of the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority for their service to this parish and its residents. My intention is always to do what we can to improve communication, efficiency, and process to ensure improved quality of life for our residents. And we will make sure that we work every day to seek stability by getting better at what we're mandated by HUD to do, and also by seeking solutions for our resident population. So I'm excited to work with this board of commissioners, our parish president, parish council, other parish leadership, our federal, state, and local elected officials, and any community stakeholders who have an interest in supporting our efforts to improve our quality of service. And last but not least, and most importantly, thank you to our residents who we work to serve every day. With that being said, let's take a look at our HCVP report. So noted, this is a report through the month of June 30th, 2024. We have 16 port outs searching for housing, 7 port outs leased up paying, 13 port ins leased up who were billing through a couple of housing authorities, 0 port ins searching for housing. We've absorbed, as it relates to the EOPs, effective 6/1/24, we have 4 absorbed and 3 EOPs. We received $275,000 and $275,673.44 for payments as of June 30th, 2024. 254,529 of that is HAP and ERP payments. 7,125,028 is T-going payments. $13,599.94 are incoming port payments, and $419.22 in administrative fees. As it relates to our eligibility process from the current waiting list, we have 10 St. Charles Parish in-house searching for 1 new admission leased up. For our low rent unit reports, we do have some changes, just some updates, some corrections that as it compares to what the commissioners currently have in their packet. As of right now, we have 129 total low rent units. We have 51 leased up, not 54. And this was as of June 30th, 2024. We have currently 8 units available, not 11. And we have 70 mod units, but of the mod units that are listed for our boutique property, it's 7 and not 8. And of course, the one that is on fire casualty.
And those units in mod, we're currently receiving funds for them because they're in mod.
Ms. Yolanda, can you answer that question if possible?
So my question was, they're in mod, so we're currently receiving funding from HUD for those units.
Total rent collected for June 2024 is $8,066. We mailed out 20 mailing list letters, waiting list letters for the month of June, and we also had 7 work orders for the month of June as well. I have some additional items not included in your board packet. We are currently underway for Inspire preparations. We were notified by HUD in late June of our HUD REACT Inspire inspection, which is to take place between Tuesday, August the 6th and Thursday, August the 8th. As we're 3 weeks out, we worked, myself, Ms. Yolanda, and the maintenance team, and Ms. Beverly, worked to develop a pre-inspection checklist. And we've notified the residents that we will be inspecting all of our units on next week at the boutique property. And we will then use the following 2 weeks as needed to address any deficiency items that come up that could be considered health or safety or moderate issues as it relates to the Inspire inspections. And this will also ensure that we have a baseline or a running understanding of the maintenance issues in each unit for long-term maintenance strategic planning. Our paint work, the progress, currently we have 6 units left to paint, our contractor does, and we are also working to address any other maintenance issues that arise. As it relates to our financial reporting, we do not have a financial report to provide at this meeting. Our current fee accountant indicated that they'll have a completed audit as soon as July 31st and no later than August 15th. I have scheduled meetings with our accounting consultant, Mr. Allen, and with our points of contact with the new fee accounting firm, 76 Strategies. I do believe currently we're using a Dropbox to submit information to our fee accountant, and that includes our financial documents as well. And from a conversation with Ms. Yolanda, our low rent account has gone down considerably due to deferred maintenance costs, and we will provide a breakdown of that working cost to the commissioners at a meeting in the future. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you. Do any of the commissioners have any questions for our executive director? All right, seeing none, I will move on to the next agenda item. Our We have several resolutions before us this evening. We have a resolution 240710-01, approving and adopting fiscal year 2024 annual plan. The authority is a public housing agency established pursuant to Louisiana law, whose mission is to promote adequate and affordable housing, economic opportunity, and a living environment free from discrimination. Committed to the authority's mission, the staff is continuously working to improve services, strengthen operations, and implement sound policy. The 5-year and annual PHA plans provide a ready source for interested parties to locate basic PHA policies, rules, and requirements concerning the PHA's operations, programs, and services, including changes to these policies, and inform HUD, families served by the PHA, and members of the public of the PHA's mission, goals, and objectives for serving the needs of low-income, very low-income, and extremely low-income families. Approval and adoption of the plan is required to effectuate these approvals to ensure compliance with HUD regulatory provisions. The staff recommends board approval and adoption of the proposed annual plan by way of the corresponding resolution. Do we have any board discussion regarding Resolution 240710-01?
Yes.
Mr. Woods?
Just so I guess an understanding of who these people are. On page 2 of 27 in the annual report, they say the statement of housing needs and strategy for addressing housing needs. Who or what is our home consortium members? What's that? Again.
I don't have a specific list, but from
Is that the
past
consortium
experience,
that we have with Jefferson, or a couple of us?
it's usually up any group or stakeholder in the community or in a neighboring community that works to support affordable housing.
Okay, I just was kind of curious of who that was.
Did that
Um,
satisfactory answer your question, or?
That, well, it gave me an idea of where to go look to see who those, just those, the specifics.
And I can get you that information,
Just to
absolutely,
see who the
absolutely.
specifics are, yeah, for sure. Again, now on page 4 of 27, same document. Under C5, page 4 of 27, C5, it says that that we're currently formalizing that recovery agreement. Have we not done that action or completed that action?
That action is complete.
It's
yeah.
completed. Okay, that was the answer I was looking for.
The only thing is, I believe this document was drafted prior to the execution of that. So that's
Yeah.
why it's stated as drafted for the point of public comment.
But it does say that we've actively implemented one, so actively have one implemented.
Okay.
And they were transmitted.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
All right, any additional questions?
Yes, I'm trying to flip.
Okay.
Most of it was self-explanatory. On page 20 of 27, same document, is our annual plan fiscal year beginning 10/1/21. Financial resources. Am I correct? Is my understanding correct? Housing Choice Voucher Program. It says we have $1,937,000. Is that specifically money that would have been in our bank account on that particular date? Is that what that's telling me?
So this is the budget that was submitted to HUD prior to the fiscal year, beginning 2023. I don't believe it's actually what's in the account.
As of that date, that would have been a true statement, am I? As of October 1, 23, this is the beginning of that, what do I want to say? As of September 30, that would have been what was in the bank? That 1,937,000, or am I just oversimplifying the number?
Ms. Yolanda?
You want to come up forward to the mic, Ms. Prevost?
With HCV, the money is put in monthly. It's not everything for the whole year or half the year put in at one time. Each month they put in the deposit the first of the month, so we can pay landlords for the first of the month.
Ms. Prevost, would it be right to assume that this number on this page would be the annual budgeted amount that
Yes.
was allocated for HCV?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So it's not a life to date, I'm sorry.
Does that clarify?
Okay. Yes, I'll say yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Updated information, we don't have updated information through September, so that's maybe why you're in the situation.
That is exactly why, and I think we all know what
Yeah.
our financial
And
performance
I
is.
do know when we started the onboarding process with Mr. Jackson, I did bring him up to speed with some of our issues we've had with financial reporting. He did mention in his executive director's report that he has already reached out to our current fee accountant and also the new one coming on, as well as other individuals regarding that process. So he is working, is my belief, that you're working hard to get us up current where we can see real-time numbers.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. Hopefully that brings a little clarity. All right. Any additional questions, Mr. Woods?
No, that's it for me on that.
All right. Any further questions from anyone?
We're gonna go back to the, resolution to adopt the resolution.
Yes, I'm gonna read the resolution in whole. Just have to get to it. All right. Resolution 240710-01, a resolution of the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority Board of Commissioners approving and adopting the fiscal year 2024 annual plan. Whereas the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority is a public housing agency established pursuant to Louisiana law, and whereas the mission of the authority is to promote adequate and affordable housing, economic opportunity, and a suitable living environment free from discrimination, and whereas the proposed 5-year and annual PHA plans provide a ready source for interested parties to locate basic PHA policies, rules, and requirements concerning the PHA's operations, programs, and services, including changes to these policies, and informs HUD, families served by the PHA, and members of the public of the PHA's mission, goals, and objectives for serving the needs of low-income, very low-income, and extremely low-income families. And whereas the staff prepared the attached fiscal year 2024 annual plan and requests the Board of Commissioners approval and adoption of the same.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to pass a motion to approve resolution
A second.
24-07-10-01. Sorry.
I second.
Is it?
I second.
Oh, okay. All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Bailey to adopt Resolution 2407-10-01, and that was seconded by Mr. Brullier. Commissioners, all in favor?
Aye.
That passes. Now therefore be resolved that the proposed fiscal year 2024 annual plan is hereby approved and adopted for implementation. All right, next resolution before us this evening is Resolution 24-7-1002, approving and adopting the 5-year capital fund action plan for 2024 to 2028. The authority is a public housing agency established pursuant to Louisiana law, whose mission is to promote adequate and affordable housing, economic opportunity, and a living environment free from discrimination. Committed to the authority's mission, the staff is continuously working to improve services, strengthen operations, and implement sound policy. The authority must adopt a 5-year plan detailing its proposed utilization of capital funds as provided by HUD. Approval and adoption of the plan by the Board of Commissioners is required to effectuate these approvals to ensure compliance with HUD regulatory provisions, and the staff recommends board approval and adoption of the proposed 5-year capital fund action plan by way of corresponding resolution. Is there any board discussion regarding this resolution? All right, seeing none, I'll read the resolution into the record. Whereas the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority is a public housing agency established pursuant to Louisiana law, and whereas the mission of the authority is to promote adequate and affordable housing, economic opportunity, and a suitable living environment free from discrimination, whereas the proposed 5-year capital fund action plan detailing its proposed utilization of capital funds as provided by HUD, and whereas the staff prepared the attached 5-year capital fund action plan for 2024 to 2028 and requests the Board of Commissioners approval of same. Do we have a motion by the board?
I motion that we accept Resolution 24-07-10-02.
Second.
All right, Mr. Bruyere has made motion to adopt Resolution 24-07-10-02, seconded by Ms. Jackson. Commissioners, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that carries. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the proposed 5-year capital fund action plan for 2024-2028 is hereby approved and adopted for implementation. Our next resolution before us is 24-07-10-03, approving and adopting admissions and continued occupancy policy, ACOP. The authority is a public housing agency established pursuant to Louisiana law, whose mission is to promote adequate and affordable housing, economic opportunity, and living environment free from discrimination. Committed to the authority's mission, the staff is continuously working to improve services, strengthen operations, and implement sound policy. The authority must adopt ACOP to ensure compliance with HUD regulations. The agency's ACOP must be updated to incorporate requisite changes outlined below. Below is an overview of the edits made to the 2015 Admissions and Continued Occupancy Policy, ACOP. HOTMA updates including Section 102, Income Reviews, Section 103, Public Housing Income Limit, Section 104, Asset Limits, inclusion of a unit inspection protocol along with a description of INSPIRE, national standards for the physical inspection of real estate, inclusion of a program fraud policy, supplementing provisions of the chapter regarding leasing and occupancy, inclusions of community service and self-sufficiency requirements, CSSR requirements, inclusion of tenant grievance procedures, and inclusion of a new chapter to delineate Violence Against Women Act VAWA protections. Approval and adoption of the ACOP by the Board of Commissioners is required to effectuate these approvals to ensure compliance with HUD regulatory provisions. The staff recommends board approval and adoption of the proposed ACOP by way of attached resolution. Do we have any board discussion regarding this resolution? All right, seeing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve resolution 24-07-10-03, approving and adopting an admissions and continued occupancy policy.
All right, and that, resolution 24-07-10-03, was moved by, Commissioner Woods, to be adopted and seconded by Commissioner Bailey. Commissioners, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that passes. Resolution 24-07-10-03, the undersigned being the duly elected Secretary of St. Charles Parish Housing Authority, hereby certifies that by written consent, the following resolution was duly adopted, whereas St. Charles Parish Housing Authority is a public housing agency established pursuant to Louisiana law, and whereas the mission of the authority is to promote adequate and affordable housing, economic opportunity, and a suitable living environment free from discrimination, and whereas it is necessary to adopt an updated admissions and continued occupancy policy to ensure compliance with applicable HUD provisions, and whereas the staff prepared the attached ACOP, requests the Board of Commissioners' approval and adoption of same. Now therefore be it resolved that the proposed ACOP is hereby approved and adopted for implementation. And 24-07-10-04, approving and adopting updated HCV administrative plan. The authority is a public housing agency established pursuant to Louisiana law, whose mission is to promote adequate and affordable housing, economic opportunity, and a living environment free from discrimination. Committed to the authority's mission, the staff is continually working to improve services, strengthen operations, and implement sound policy. The authority must adopt an HCV administrative plan to ensure compliance with HUD regulations. Below are the proposed substantive edits to the HCV administrative plan, all of which were incorporated into the agency plan document that is currently in the 45-day review period. Incorporations of sections 102 and 104 of the Housing Opportunity through Modernization Act of 2016, HOTMA. There are major changes that are mandated by HUD. They were supposed to go into effect January 1st, 2025, but HUD has pushed it back. We are still required to include language in the administrative plan and ACOP, inclusion of discretionary HOTMA policies, inclusion of language about the new Inspire inspections, and inclusion of a new fraud policy. New language regarding VAWA 2022 is not included as HUD has not yet issued guidance. However, the current language is sufficient. Approval and adoption of the plan by the Board of Commissioners is required to effectuate these approvals to ensure compliance with HUD regulatory provisions, and the staff recommends board approval and adoption of the proposed HCV administrative plan by way of corresponding resolution. Is there any board discussion regarding Resolution 24-07-10-04?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve resolution 24-07-10-04.
Second.
We have a motion to approve Resolution 24-07-10-04 by Commissioner Bailey, and it was seconded by Commissioner Jackson. Commissioners, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. That passes. The undersigned, being the duly elected Secretary of St. Charles Parish Housing Authority, hereby certifies that by written consent the following resolution was duly adopted, whereas the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority is a public housing agency established pursuant to Louisiana law, and whereas the mission of the authority is to promote adequate and affordable housing, economic opportunity, and a suitable living environment free from discrimination, and whereas it is necessary to adopt a Housing Choice Voucher HCV administrative plan to ensure compliance with applicable HUD provisions, and whereas the staff prepared the attached HCV administrative plan and requests the Board of Commissioners approval and adoption of same, and now therefore be it resolved that the proposed HCV administrative plan is hereby approved and adopted for implementation. Okay. That concludes our resolutions for this evening. Next agenda item this evening is our corrective action plan update. Mr. Jackson, are you giving us an update on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Jay. The ACOP revision and the annual plan revision, update, rather, were just approved, so those two items have been checked off of that corrective action plan list. We still are working to prepare a written guide for tenant file organization for the HCVP program, and we are working to document for the public housing program current wages to prepare for the 2024 annual evaluations according to each employee's anniversary date, so that's more of a personnel matter.
Okay.
So I believe we have two more outstanding items on that corrective action plan list to resolve, which of those two that I just mentioned.
Could we get a copy of the checklist for the inspection?
Absolutely.
Thank you. That could be emailed to us.
Sure.
Right, any other questions regarding the corrective action plan update?
So you said there's only 2 more outstanding items?
That is what I believe I saw when I reviewed the document. The one as it relates to the written guide for tenant file organization for HCVP, as well as documentation for wages and annual evaluations. Am I missing one? Or that's it? Okay.
Knocking them out, good.
All right, recovery plan update.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Yolanda.
Go ahead, Ms. Prevost. You speaking on corrective action plan, or?
Yes.
Okay.
The evaluation and the rate increase has been done.
Oh, it's been done?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Evaluation.
Did you have a question?
No, when you said the evaluations and rate increase, we're talking about our evaluation of our staff or what?
Yes.
Okay.
Something with civil service won every year,
Okay.
so that has been done. They sent me the rate increase yesterday that I gave to you.
Okay, yes, sir.
Also, the ACOP and the admin plan that they had on there, that was what y'all just did.
Right.
So we shouldn't have nothing else, right? That should conclude,
So that
That
includes all
recovery
items
plan.
on the corrective action plan?
yes.
Am I correct to understand we're saying that when you say rate increase, that we're able to pay our staff more money?
That's
I mean, I'm just asking the simplest.
every year, if the evaluation is good, civil service give them a 4% up until they get to a certain level, then they get a 3.
Yeah,
But
okay.
that's what we're doing with civil service. That's a
Okay.
mandatory thing.
Got it. Okay. So again, I can understand that those evaluations, I'm gonna say were good and everything well, and our employees can expect a 4% increase. Am I correct in
Yes,
understanding
at the
that?
end of this month.
Good deal, good.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Prevost and Commissioner Woods. All right, recovery plan update. Mr. Jackson?
Excuse me, I did work to submit a periodic progress report to HUD as required on July the 2nd, 2024, and the report was received by our local HUD field office point of contact. Don't know if anyone, if Prevost or Circular has any additional comments?
Okay. Mr. Woods?
I do have a comment. Were you saying that you can put all that up, and is that going into, like, let's say, our PIC system or whatever?
The periodic report? It was actually an email letter documenting an update as it relates to the recovery agreement.
Oh, okay. Then
Yes.
I'm thinking about a different thing then. Okay, I'll talk to you about something else.
And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe the field office did acknowledge receipt of
They
that.
did, they did.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And that's something that we do have to submit to them every 90 days per that agreement.
Yeah,
Okay, any other matters that we need to discuss this evening? All right, seeing none, at this time we'll open for public comment. Seeing no one here for public comment, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chair, I move that we adjourn the meeting.
I second.
We have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Woods and second by Commissioner Jackson. All in favor?
Aye.
That passes. We are adjourned. The time is 6:34. Thank you all.